What is up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Bullish's Top Stocks to Watch for the Week and Why. A few things before we get into it, as always. Hey, these are only my opinions. Do your own due diligence. This is equal parts entertainment and education, mostly entertainment. I'm not a financial advisor, so definitely look into one if you need that. Just showing you what I'm watching, what I'm liking, maybe what I'm trading also for this week and into the coming weeks, probably. Also, hey, if you like this episode, subscribe here on YouTube. Help me feel good about myself, but also real underscore bullish Twitter, stock Twitter. I'm pretty active on both of those, sometimes on a daily basis, and also Instagram to a lesser extent, just for like fun and memes and shit. All right, but also let's just tell into it, right? So looking at, hopefully you can see my screen. If not, oh well. But one of the things I'm looking into right now is value trades, retail trades, and the reason I'm doing that is because inflation is here. They just had the consumer price index released last week, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. Hey, inflation is going up. Is it transitory, as they're saying? Transitory meaning like it's going to pass eventually, probably. And it looks like things are kind of starting to taper off. You see the price of lumber and stuff kind of flattening out to start going down. But still, I want to look at going against what I usually go through. I usually go growth and I usually go like fun tech shit. But I'm trying to look into other things. And one of the things that I'm looking into is value, more value. I really want to get into value investing more so than looking at growth companies and stuff. But the way I'm starting is with the ETFs. If you don't know what an ETF is, it's an exchange traded fund. It's a basket of different stocks that are in a similar portfolio. The one I'm looking at here is RZP. This is an Invesco ETF for small cap companies. So small cap, basically smaller companies. So this is kind of like a play on both value but growth at the same time, because small caps are usually riskier, right? But these are value small cap companies. That's what this ETF is. So kind of like the best of both to me. And I'm really liking the trade. As people rotate from growth to value and back and forth. I think this is the easier way to play it for me, since I'm really just kind of getting into value. But one thing, I looked at like three or four different value ETFs. I like this one a lot, specifically because of the charts. We'll look at the charts real quick. But if you look at it, making higher highs, right? Higher highs and higher lows. These candles are going higher, which is always a good thing. But it's at an interesting area here, and I annotated it here. This area about like 95, let's call it, is finding really, hopefully, really good resistance or support. It was resistance before here. You know how I like to look at it: monthly, weekly, daily. So monthly, hey, we see a green candle coming off. You see for the last 3 or 4 months, honestly 3 months, we've had volume over average, which is great. RSI is a little high, but still, it's kind of trying to taper. Hopefully it can stay hot. On the month level, the MACD is still pretty good. Those are just other indicators I look at. But what's interesting to me and why I picked this one specifically is they had a nice cup and handle formation. Basically, if you don't know what cup and handle formation is, look it up. But basically, it's a peak here, you see a valley, and usually you see this volume over average at the bottom, which we did see here for selling, and then it comes over here, breaks this line, and then hopefully it retests back, sometimes up to 30-40%. You see that here, and then you see people coming in at the weekly level here. Once this price action breaks out again, we will probably see a retest of this breakout area, but I would expect it to probably hold because it's done similar in the past. Hopefully it holds, but usually you want to wait for this breakout to start getting into it, but it's not uncommon for it to retest this area of breakout. So at the weekly level, I like this little cup and handle. I like to use cup and handles for a day and a week level. When you go to month, it's a bigger time horizon and it's a little bit harder to play. But I like this at the week level, the month level, at the week level. It did have a little bit of a sell off last week, but that's fine. That's exactly what I wanted to catch it. I want to catch it as it tries to test this area of 95.10, which was previous resistance, and now hopefully it's support. So I'm going to probably slow by it here. I feel pretty happy with that one. But also on the day level, hey, like I said, hey, you had this breakout, and what's going to happen is going to retest this area probably, right? So hopefully you find some good support here. It's a little bit sell-offy at the day level just because it is, it did have a breakout before that. You see RSI cooling off. You see MACD kind of cooling off to do that as well. But I would expect it to kind of test this and then kind of a little buying here and there. Hopefully it holds this support here. But previously it's making higher highs, so it's doing exactly what you want to do. So again, RZV, a really good value ETF that I could find. The other one I'm going to go into for the week, so I'm going RZV, I'm going NERD because I love gaming and shit, and Chewy. Those are the three I'm going to look at today and what I'm looking at for this week. The reason why I chose also NERD nerd, I just saw this. I think that gaming is just a trend. It's not necessarily an inflation hedge, but it's really good in terms of the industry. They just had a gaming industry was up 3% this time last year for May. For 2020 sales, so 4.45 billion in sales that they did in May alone, and that's across hardware, accessories, digital content. What I like about Nerd specifically, and how I think it's also not a hedge for inflation, but it plays well because these are companies that again another ETF, so a breadbasket of gaming companies, but they can charge more if things are more expensive for them, plastic, metal, whatever, they can just raise their margin. It's more of like an elastic margin. And that's kind of how I'm looking at the next few trades in terms of like, hey, if there is inflation, if it's here to stay, how do I play it? And I'm gonna try to play it in terms of hey, things that have really nice tailwinds. So like in the industry that's growing, not going down, but also companies that are good in terms of margin, right? That they can charge the consumer more instead of kind of paying themselves more. So gaming, is hot, like I said, and this is another ETF. I'm playing ETFs for this one because specifically, I think that gaming is different reason from RZV. Gaming right now is super hot, but also super expensive. I don't want to like pick and choose companies. I want to go with ETFs that I believe in. Nerd is definitely one of them. It hasn't been trading for all that long. If you look at Nerd, it's only been trading since June of last 2 years ago. So the volume is still coming in. But what I liked about this one is that, and if you look at the month level, and that's what I'm looking at here. You can see like, and I basically this is called a Fibonacci retracement. It's a super easy tool. You just put it down here. You go to this Fibonacci. You go from the bottom to the top, and it tries to give you levels. And what I liked about this one at the month level was that it had a really good peak over here of $39, and then it cooled off at an important area. 38.2 and 61.8 are two really important areas of Fibonacci retracements, and it found support here at the month level. It cooled off, touched it, and then hopefully it kind of goes on. I like this at the month level. Honestly, you get a green candle. You have RSI that was cooling off. Definitely, when this gets over this line, it's hot. It might sell off. It's an area of correction. We saw it cool off a little bit, and now it's starting to stabilize. MACD, I use both of these in conjunction. Sometimes they don't help you, but usually when you see them go in the same area, it's a good sign. So both of these at the month level, I like it. I like that it was busting out, and then it's trying to test this area of support, which is great for me. At the week level, and there's a bunch of ETFs for gaming and value. I just chose these two because I like what comprises them. Nerd is big on e-gaming, so it's like ATVI, Activision, CRSR, which is Corsair Gaming that got a pop today. Tencent Holding, it's Japan, China, U.S. companies, but specifically around like gaming, e-gaming specifically, which I think is going to be a really good hit, especially coming up here the next couple years. But anyways, at the week level, another good thing, it's a green candle here. You look at it at the month, week, day level, and if it's green, hey, it's not a bad sign. You see another one here on the week level. What I like is that it's hitting this blue line here and going up. I love catching companies as they hit this blue line. I don't like them when they're too far extended. You see how this is so far away from here? A correction happened. I like to catch them when they're close to this blue line, over crossing it, because to me, you're not, it's going with the moving averages. Also, another thing I liked at the week level, there's been no volume, but that's fine. It's kind of just meandering and staying flat. I want to buy it slowly at these levels over a longer time horizon, over like a month and a half. Just say slow buying to make sure that I'm getting a good price, but I'm not, spending too much for it over average. You see RSI kind of coming back. You see how up here it corrects and goes down, and then it finds a new level of support here for the RSI, and then we hopefully see it rounding up. And that's what you see here. You see, hey, it went to this level. It's going to correct over this level usually. It came down, and now it's cooling off to round out. MACD is kind of shadowing it the same way. So I love when charts line up like this. This is to me like an easy one to start for me looking into. At the day level, you do see it coming up as well. It's up, 1% for the day, so that's cool. I'm actually trying to see what it's going to do at this level. If you see here, like this is an important area. It's respecting it, right? It tried to test this area of 3267. It didn't do it, 4 days ago. Now it's trying again. It looks like this time it might have the juice to do it. You see it coming up, but I have an alert set. Hey, when it breaks this, let me know. I want to look at it again. I don't want to buy it in the middle. I hate buying things here. Buy them at the bottom, buy them at the top. But tops are new bottoms. So once it breaks over here, so I'm gonna look at it again. But honestly, everything's looking good. RSI is going up, MACD is going up as well. So those are two different ETFs that I'm looking at for kind of different plays on inflation. RZV being more small cap, investing for ETF, and gaming for nerd because I'm a gamer. But also I think that they have their elastic margins are really good to look into because they can just pass those expenses for inflation onto the consumer. Another one that I really like, Chewy, and to me, I'm a guy, I'm a pet guy, and also I got this in the mail like today, Chewy, they're really going after people, in terms of like marketing. And I'm in marketing, so I love it. But they're really, really like really smart about how they do it. I'm probably going to use. I haven't used Chewy yet. I'm probably going to using this coupon. But anyways, they had earnings for Chewy were last week. I thought they were good. They raised guidance. The market didn't like it, and you see it selling off. It's even today. It's only down. Oh no, actually, it's pretty good today. But anyways, let's go into it. For the quarter, they added 4.7 net new million customers. So almost 5 million customers they added in Q1. That's a 32% increase year over year. They have 21 million active customers. That's a fuckload of active customers. And the longer the customers stay customers, the more they spend per transaction, per purchase. So that's really good, especially as they bring these on. They kind of age into older customers that just pay, that spend more money, right? They also raise guidance, but they do have some tailwinds or headwinds also. The short-term supply constraints, with COVID and everything costing more. But I love this elastic kind of margin where they can just pass those. Hopefully you don't have to pass expenses out to the consumers. But Chewy is that, their margins or whatever. Really, they kind of want to say the margins are going to be. If they want to, if that dog bone costs them 20% more, they can charge the customer 20% more, and these customers are going to spend more because it's just so convenient for them looking into Chewy. Like I said, I'm gonna try it out, but definitely I really liked it. I didn't like Chewy at 120, whatever the fuck 21 this was, but at the month level, it's not looking too bad, honestly. Like I said, this is a relatively new company in terms of like how long it's been traded for. It's only been publicly traded since 2019 again, so relatively new. But if you look at the month level, you see a lot of good shit here. Honestly, it did needed to correct. It did need to come back to this 10 EMA, so I'm on board here. You see, I've been looking at Chewy for a while. I've played it a couple different times. I don't think too successfully, but I think this time will be a different story for me. But anyways, I was kind of trying to catch it on the up, and I probably shouldn't have played it that way. But anyways, at the month level, you see this. Hey, you see how this is like running hot over this 70 area correction territory. It needed to correct, and that's what it's doing at the month level. You see, it's coming down to bottoming out. MACD is like rounding out to start pinching to maybe start turning bullish. So for me so far, pretty good. If you look at it at the week level as well, what I like about this are these indicators are looking right? So it had to correct, right? So we're not even looking at price right now. And you see how this is like about to cross the 10 EMA, this blue line. That's where I love to get it here, but slightly above. I don't want it too far. I don't want price to like extend too far. I wouldn't have bought it. Oh my God. And then you have to fucking hold it to touch this line. It's about wave theory, right? It's all waves. So it went up, caressing down. Now it's trying to round out to go above this 10 EMA again. That's pretty bad right here. You want these lines to be, dark blue, light blue, yellow, green, whatever, however I have them. So that was a bad indicator where these cross over. I think it's called death cross. But hopefully these start rounding out at the week level. Bad selling, hey, selling over average coming on last week. So that was the earnings. But prices, RSI is coming flattening out. MACD is starting to circle out. So I really like Chewy because they had great earnings and they sold off. But I love that they sold off because it's a company that I believe in for sure. I've been watching for a while. Like I said, played it almost unsuccessfully. But anyways, you see here, and that's what this is exactly what I want to see at the day level. Price is trying to stabilize, right? Hopefully at this 75 area. You saw that selling over average coming in, and then we're rebounding today. I think people are saying, hey, that was an over correction, right? For whatever reason, it was too much of a sell off. It's correcting. I like that. RSI is flattening out from dipping down. MACD is coming and rounding out. So I really like Chewy. Honestly, I'll probably, of the three that I'm looking at right now, Chewy is probably the most prime for me, followed by probably RZV. And I want to see what Nerd's going to do at this important area of resistance that we looked at, to see what that's going to do as well. But hey, like I said, these are things I'm watching, not necessarily playing, but honestly, like I feel a lot of conviction with these three. But I don't feel as much conviction for the market in general. We have an important Fed meeting coming up on Wednesday, and that's where they're gonna like talk about interest rates and stuff like that. So I think the market is really just trying to see what's gonna happen. It's probably gonna be business as usual. They're not gonna raise interest rates, but if they ever do, just when they do decide to raise interest rates, it's gonna really affect the stock market. Your growth and value stocks are gonna probably be flipped around a little bit. So I think the market's kind of really trying to test that right now. But anyways, I have a book recommendation as well. Before I go, The Hour Between Dog and Wolf. It's a really good book about how your physiological changes occur in your body as you put money at risk. So we think we're investing with our minds, but actually we're investing, the argument is with your whole body, right? So like, and it's basically how we evolved to do like fight versus flight when we were like chasing fucking bears and shit in the wild and stuff. Those things still happen, but now it happens as you put your money at risk. Your heart rate goes up. Your stomach tightens up. Your digestive system closes. Your hormones kick in for steroids and shit, and your that internally made kind of kick in, and how your body really changes, and you feel it when you put money at risk and you're down or you're up. You feel elated or you feel sated. Like it's basically like that. It's a really cool book because and even for me, like as I put money into the market more and more, I try to look at it through a different lens. Like how do my body feeling? Because that impacts how you trade as well. But anyways, good book recommendation. Like I said, get it on Amazon. The Hour Between Dog and Wolf, pretty damn good. RZV, Nerd, Chewy are the ones that I'm watching for this week. I hope everyone has a great trading week. Y'all have a good one. Peace.